My name is Gabriella Barrios.
Bar-
Barrios.
I keep hearing it as Barrios.
Barrios.
Yeah,
Barrios.
Barrios. Okay, cool. And what exactly do you do?
So I'm a personal trainer and an online health and wellness coach.
What does that entail? I don't know what that is.
So a personal trainer, I help develop women in succeeding their transformation on the outer, but also the health and wellness part and aspect of that. I allow women to dive deeper into their wellness area as well. So I help them with their mental health along their fitness journey.
And that's more like a life coach thing on top of the people.
I would say like a life coach. I mean, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, but I've gone through my own journey where I feel like the basis of my business is allowing yourself to dive deeper into not just the fitness realm, not in just like the physical, but also your mental health space as well. I feel like it goes hand in hand. Having that priority to work on the inner is so much more important also than working on the outer. Does
So
that
do you
make
think
sense?
it's a 50-50 split with what you do, or do you think it's like a 60-40? Would you...
I would say, yeah, that's like a good ratio. I think it's 60-40. Not all women that I work with need help on their mental health space. Majority of them do because they're moms. We go through postpartum depression, maybe, and like the way that our mind works is we connect a lot of self-sabotage along with our bodies. I literally just posted about it today. It's like, how does our mind bully us into abusing our bodies? And that leads to overeating, maybe undereating, binge eating, not creating that space to be able to be grateful for our bodies. Not being able to create a space to allow our bodies to move the way that we need them to move. And I think it goes hand in hand. So it's about 60-40.
I'm looking at the end result right now. Like, what got you to this point? So, what got you interested in that exact career choice? Like, what got you curious? And then, can you lead me from there all the way up until now and explain what that journey was?
Right.
What happened?
So, what led me to this career choice was me diving deeper into my journey. I loved working out. I had just had 2 babies. I was wanting to lose the baby weight, and I loved what fitness brought to me. I loved the mental switch that it provided for me. I was such a different woman. I had a lot more self-love. I was able to fill up my cup so much that I was overfilling my kid's cup in a sense, and figuratively speaking. I felt like I had a lot more to offer because I was working so much on myself. And so that allowed me to dive a little bit in question, like, what do I really want to do in my life? I love this so much. It's been such a passion for me. How can I make this into something that I could do for the rest of my life? Which is why I went into personal training. I started training out of Self-Made in West Covina, I started training out of Self-Made in West Covina. Absolutely loved the environment and the energy that these girls were also just bringing to me. It's like we're feeding into each other's lives. I mean, women go through so much, and I feel like allowing ourselves to really dive deeper with each other, it helped elevate each other. Not just me pouring into them. Yes, I'm their coach, but I also felt like it was a great space for us to be vulnerable as women and to share our struggles alongside the struggles of waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and working out, working on our fitness journey. So leading up to now, I mean, it's been a great journey. I've just recently embarked on a healing journey, which allowed all my other girls to embark on their healing journey. So I think it's a level of sorry, you guys are editing. You guys can edit this, right?
No, pausing makes you look smarter.
Okay.
So if you're trying to find a word.
Okay. I think it's a level of example that I was leading for these girls unintentionally. Leading that example to work on yourself physically, but also work on yourself mentally. It created such an amazing space for these women to excel, not just in their physical goals, but their career goals, their relationship goals, their goals with their children. I saw a major shift in my career when I implemented these things together. Now, it wasn't just physical training, it's like our life training too. It's our mental health space. It's how we train ourselves to love ourselves ultimately.
So, what do you think was the most difficult thing between you making the decision to do what you're doing now and where you're at? Like, of course, you stabilized, right? Pretty sure. But what was there ever a point where you're like being tested, or like you were thinking of giving up on that specific
Yeah.
thing you put your
Right.
mind to?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with any new venture comes a lot of sacrifice and there comes a lot of self doubt. So I think I struggled immensely. Even in the first year of my career as a trainer, I suffered tremendously with depression and anxiety. That's something that I'm really open about and that I've been sharing alongside with my girls. I was struggling with my own demons, with my own past that I wasn't dealing with. And so it was the self sabotage in the first year of my career that my body was craving so much success, but it was almost resisting the new life that I wanted because I was so used to a framework of not deserving good enough, or believing that I wasn't good enough, or believing that my past was allowing me to, or for lack of better words, not allowing me to really receive what I wanted in my life was better.
So it sounds like you help physically and mentally, but it seems like the benchmark, the pillar that I'm hearing is that you help people break the familiarity they have with negative things,
Yes.
and that's like they're comfortable almost with some of
Right.
the negative
Yeah.
energy, or
Right.
whether it's people or emotions, thoughts, whatever, because people come from different walks of life. Like you just help them break that,
Right.
and then the physical conditioning you put them through is like shaking the body off of it and
Yes.
shaking the mind.
Right. Well, like I was just talking to one of my girls about it today. The struggle with our self image has a lot to do with how we show up for ourselves. And that starts with our mental space. How we're showing up for ourselves in our day to day, what we really want, goals that maybe we set up, even in career, with family. It all bleeds into the same space of how much do you trust yourself and how much can you accomplish when you set yourself up for something. And so that coincides with our physical goals. We want to look a certain way, we want to maybe shed off some baby weight, and there's this resistance there. What we really want, we cannot achieve. Why is that? Because our mind has been telling us the framework that we've been so used to. You're not good enough. You're not able to achieve this. Up to this point, your life has been this way, so it has to stay that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like that. Well, I don't know what book it was that someone just told me about, but it's like you're agreeing with yourself, and that's a bad thing sometimes because you're making these weird agreements. Like, yes, I can't do this, and that's fine. And then you're like,
Right.
no, like that might seem like a positive thought at first, and that's like acceptance, but no, it's not. Like you're just restricting yourself at that point.
Right. That self-negative talk, it leads
Yeah.
you absolutely nowhere. So that's where I come into play, where I think I can create a space. Yes, we're working on your physical goals. We're trying to lose baby weight, but we're also really diving deeper is like, okay, well, why was this such a struggle for you? What was limiting you to believe that we could achieve this?
What about the female experience? Is it that like, because I'm a dude, right? Like, can you like share what that's like? Because we don't know. You know what I mean? Like, what type of, what are you overcoming exactly? Like, what is it
Okay.
that's,
The female experience as far as physically and mentally.
yeah, like, what is it you're feeling? You know, like,
For females, we carry a lot of stress, and I think it's the standards that society holds on a female, right? Females are supposed to have a baby and snap back within I kid you not, like 6 weeks after having a kid, you know, creating a standard where we're supposed to be very thin, but okay, well, we want to be a little thick too, and we need fillers and implants, and there's a lot of standards as far as the women body goes. So I understand where the insecurity comes from. I've been there too, where I feel like maybe I'm not set up for this standard. I'm already failing at this point because I'm not 6 feet tall and I don't have long legs and I don't have big breasts and things like that. So that's something I think that affects the women's mind as far as insecurity goes. But I mean, the lack of feminine energy too. I feel like, and I could get emotional about it because I've also, ooh, here comes the tears.
You're getting nerve with me right now.
Oh my
too.
goodness.
Yeah.
The lack of feminine energy that we do not carry as women is so sad. And it's because of the traumas that we've gone through in our lives, the masculine energy that we've had to put up, these walls, we've had to carry ourselves, we've had to really take care of a lot on our plate. And as women, we're here to create, we're here to be feminine, and not to say we can't be boss babes with that, but I feel like the lack of feminine energy in these women, I mean, this is where there's sometimes a block, and we
It's
can't.
like that agreement you were talking about.
It's
earlier,
the
where it's like,
agreement.
oh yes, I can do
Yes.
that, so I will ignore it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
There's this like silent agreement that we're not capable of achieving with what we want because we are so stressed with like X, Y, and Z over here, but we're still holding on to that. Does that make sense?
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
So
that,
hit me really hard.
that-
I mean, I know I'm stone faced most of the time, but like I'm processing that right now.
it's heavy.
So when it comes to your approach to like not dealing with, but like helping clients and stuff, do you have like an adjective or like a word that's in your head, right?
An adjective.
Like okay, so like when you're conducting business, people internalize things, right? Like that's the whole idea of like well that's what concept means to me. So it means different things to people, but
Right.
like, conceptualization is a human thing that we do. And when he asked me, I said, well, I think limerence is something that I kind of embody when I'm working, because that literally means to become obsessed to the point that you're like lost in what you're doing and nothing else matters. It's like hyperfixation, right? And I do that when I help people. Like I
Okay.
become like absolutely fixated on not me, but somebody
Right.
else, or not me, but what I'm working on. So like, what would you say describes your work the best? I don't even want to call it work. It's
Wow.
more like
What describes you?
help. Yeah,
What
what
best
describes
describes
you? Yeah.
In one word.
That's a really loaded question.
It's loaded. So like,
I
yeah.
feel like what describes me, I think, is different for the word that I would describe my work.
Mhm.
I think my work, the best word that I can give is empathy. I feel like I really empathize with these women because I've also been through these things too. I'm coming from a place of experience. I'm not working from an empty space. Like I've been in these shoes. I've been where these women are. I've been in a place where I was insecure, suicidal, lacking my feminine energy. But I think one word that describes me, no one's ever asked me that question before.
That came from me. I'm asking.
Oh, you.
I'm asking.
What describes me
Yeah,
as a
yeah, I'm
as
not
a
on the script.
I just
Yeah.
asked you in a more simple way.
Yeah.
You were saying to
Okay.
Yeah, because I talk a lot.
What word describes me?
Uh-huh.
Dang. That's hitting like a trigger for me now because I want to say what describes me is I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
Dang.
Take your time.
I like the genuine conversation, not a small description.
No, yeah, like that's pretty heavy because there's a lot of things that describes me, but I think okay. I think what describes me is like being resilient. Resilience, I think. I know. Being able to maneuver myself in situations of like adversity, hard times, struggles. I think resilience is probably something that describes me.
I like that answer. It didn't
Thank
need
you.
to be specific.
Yeah, that was that got me sweaty.
Oh gosh, you can
Oh,
tell.
my goodness.
So, how'd you ask the? Is there anything you wanted to ask her?
Why concept?
Yeah.
Why concept? Why do I support the brand, or like why?
Why do you support the brand?
Why do I support the brand? I am a people kind of gal. I don't say I'm in the personal training business or the coaching business. I'm in the people business. I love people and I want to support people in their vision, and hence why I'm in what I do is to help women further succeed in not just their physical goals, but help them elevate mentally and spiritually as well. I think Concept is an amazing brand that can help people really elevate themselves. I was talking to Edward about this over the phone, and I loved the idea of having people share their stories because it really brings us together, and the word unity just really shines to me. There's 3 things in life that we can't avoid as human beings is pain, constant work, and uncertainty. And I feel like with people's stories, a lot of our pain brings us purpose and vision and provision. And so allowing us to hear stories from other people, I think that also can just bring a sense of unity in a community. Like that's what we really need. We're here on earth, and as I don't want to make it sound selfish, like yes, we're here to work and we're here to build, but we're also here to grow with like the community that's around us that literally helps elevate ourselves mentally, spiritually, physically. If you don't have that sense of community, I feel like sometimes that's when we feel alone, we feel vulnerable, we feel broken. Why not bring the concept of, hey, we're all in this together? So that's why I fully support this vision.